for that team, for his teammates and everything. So I've been behind him 100% throughout the whole thing.
All right, Super Bowl champ Booger McFarland back here with us. And Boog, I want to be honest with you. Initially, when this started, I was convinced that Aaron was going elsewhere. Now I'm kind of leaning towards the fact maybe he's staying just because hearing from his teammates. Do you think it's a certainty that Aaron Rodgers ends up back with the Packers?
Molly, no, I don't. And I think Aaron controls that. You know, most times when we get in standoffs between players and organization, it always comes back to the money. Like, let's face it, find the money, find who has the most money, and normally that's who's going to win. Well, obviously the Green Bay Packers and their organization are completely loaded, but when you look at Aaron Rodgers, he's made $240 million. So if he is so personally ticked off, if he's personally so angry with this organization, he doesn't have to go back. So, hey, find him $15 million. Okay, I got 240. So big deal. I think, to me, this is about respect. This is about pride. This is about the ability for an organization to understand what they have, to realize they have one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and just pick the phone up and say, hey, man, you're involved. What do you think about this decision? What do you think about that decision? And some people will say, well, they don't owe him that. Well, guess what? When you are the quarterback of a team, it's the toughest position to play in all of sport. You deserve to have a say-so. You deserve a right at the table. And Molly, the only way I think this gets fixed is really simple. There's only one way this gets fixed. Is Brian Gutekunst, the GM, is going to have to do what all men hate to do, and that's swallow their pride. He's going to have to swallow his pride and say, you know what? I made a mistake in drafting Jordan Love. I'm going to have to take Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to have to pay him a 3 or 4 year deal, give him $40 million a year, guarantee the entire deal toward the end of his career, and basically subsequently saying that Jordan Love is not going to play. You're going to have to do something with Jordan Love. And that's the only way I think that this situation gets fixed. If not, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is coming back because he doesn't have any financial incentive to come back because he's got more than enough money to pay any fine they want. So what reason, if he's so personally ticked off at the organization, would he have to come back? He can pull a Carson Palmer, rest up for a couple years and come back. And I'm pretty sure at 39, 40 years old, he would still be able to play based on look at what Tom Brady's doing. And Aaron's more athletic than him and his arm hasn't shown any decline yet. So I think this total situation is up to Aaron Rodgers. They're going to have to come down and meet some of his demands. And if they don't, I don't think he goes back there.
Boog, I think you touched on something that deserves to be repeated and emphasized. You talked about Aaron Rodgers feeling disrespected. Well, in the NFL, the way you show players that you respect them is how you pay them. So if the Packers want to fix this relationship with A-Rod, all they have to do is address the contract. Now it's going to push them to do something that they're clearly uncomfortable doing, which is guaranteeing money into future years. Right now, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have any more guaranteed money on his contract. So essentially, the Packers can go from season to season, and when they see any slippage in his play, they can move on and turn it over to the guys that they drafted to be a successor in Jordan Love. So while I understand where you're coming from, I do think the relationship is fixable. We heard James Jones, who's a really close friend of Aaron Rodgers, his former receiver, say as much. And then you heard Devontae Adams talk about the same issues that A-Rod is having with the organization, being around respect. I think that's something that can be fixed. And because of that, coupled with the fact that Aaron Rodgers hasn't come out publicly and said that he's not going back to Green Bay, I think it's a virtual certainty that he will be back with the Packers this fall.
I agree with Booger on this, almost for the exact reasons you laid out, Booger. Look, I've been saying from the beginning, business will feel personal sometimes to the employee, and I always thought that this was much more about business than Aaron Rodgers even realized. As in, and Chris, you said it yesterday, he's manipulating the way he manipulates coverages with his eyes. He's manipulating the Packers here in a way, because they were going to dictate how the end of his Packers career was going to go. And he has completely changed that now. He's completely changed it. What did they do? Look, he's age 37 season coming up, right? So he doesn't have to play till he's 43 like Tom Brady, 7 more years. Even if he just plays till he's 40 at a high level, that's 4 more years he can get out of guaranteed money. All right, make me the highest paid player ever, guaranteed money. They've already said, okay, we'll do that, right? Now, this is why I agree with Booger, though, Chris. It seems like, well, then he's going to go back, right, if it's about money. This is really what it comes down to, guys. Certain quarterbacks, Boog, not every quarterback, a handful of dudes, maybe only 3, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. When you're like one of those guys, you're basically an NBA superstar in today's NFL. As in, the Rockets thought James Harden's under contract. He can't tell us where he's going to be traded. Au contraire, James Harden will order you to trade him to one specific team. And it will dawn on his present team eventually. He's right. We got no choice. We're going to have to trade him to that team. You don't even have the option to disobey the order. You don't even have that option. It's not even an issue of free will. You have to do it because otherwise you're left with nothing, right? Now, here's the problem. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have to sit out. I've been trying to explain this to people. Guys, you think you're going to try and win a Super Bowl with a quarterback who doesn't want to be there? If Aaron Rodgers shows up, yeah, he'll do it. He'll play very well. But is he going to lead a group of guys to the Super Bowl? Because this is a team ready to win the Super Bowl if Rodgers is all in, right? They know that's not the case. So what are they going to do? They're going to trade him to exactly where he tells them to trade him because he's going to let the other teams know, I'm not interested in playing for you. Who's going to give up the farm to get a half-in, half-out Aaron Rodgers? No, they will trade him to exactly who he tells them to trade him to. Unless, and here's why Booger's right, unless they swallow their pride. The Packers front office has to go to Aaron Rodgers, hat in hand, and say, we didn't understand. We thought it was the way things used to be. It ain't the way it is for guys like you. You were right, we were wrong. You're smart, we're stupid. You're tall, we're short. Whatever it is, right? You good, us bad. Now, here's the bag that you asked for. You have input. We want to hear from you. And have we mentioned again that we're sorry? Then he will stay. But are they willing to swallow their pride?
Booger, let me ask you this, because I have a question. You brought up the $240 million, and nobody really has yet, and we've discussed this ad nauseum. So for Aaron Rodgers at this point, do you think it's more about the money, or do you think it's more about the rings when he sees how Tom Brady's being taken care of? What do you think really is the point of contention for him and his desires at this point in his career?
Yeah, Molly, I don't think it's as much about money. Obviously, money's always a part of it, especially when you're in labor. I think it's about Aaron Rodgers looking at this situation and saying, look at the amount of disrespect I'm getting in Green Bay, and I've been here, 15 years. Now, look at the amount of respect that Tom Brady got in Tampa. He's only been there a year. Molly, down here in Tampa, they went out and got Shady McCord. They got Leonard Fournette. They got Rob Gronkowski. They got Antonio Brown. Hell, anybody that could catch a football that was cut from another team, they was asking Tom Brady, do you want him? And if Brady wanted him, they went out and they got him. And he's only been here a year. Tom Brady has a say-so in everything here in Tampa. And he's only been here 1 year. Aaron Rodgers has been in Green Bay 15, and he can't even get a phone call before you draft Jordan Love. And they knew they were drafting Jordan Love because they traded picks up to go get Jordan Love. So they can't say, well, Jordan Love just fell to us. No, that's a lie. You got on the phone and you made a trade. So you mean to tell me while one of your guys was on the phone, you couldn't text Aaron Rodgers and say, hey, we got a situation here. We're going to trade up to get Jordan Love. Hey, nothing to do with you. We're just trying to prepare for the future. Give the man a heads up. They couldn't even send him a text message. They couldn't even say, hey, man, you up? Come on, just let the man know what's going on in the organization. So to me, it's about disrespect. Now, you can solve the disrespect by giving me the bag. Like, you can give me 45, 50 million a year and I'll swallow it because I can, in my mind, I can play tricks in my mind and say, okay, they disrespected me, but they made me the highest paid player ever at the position. So, okay, I'll come back and play. But other than that, you're going to have to come out and publicly say and show that you are sorry for what you did. And how do you do that? You're going to have to guarantee me 3 or 4 years, and you're going to have to get rid of Jordan Love. I think that, to me, this is less about the general manager, Gutekunst, and more about how you built the team. So can you admit that you made the mistake of drafting Jordan Love by guaranteeing my contract subsequently while Jordan Love is there, and now you're pushing him out, so he'll never play while I'm here? That's how you come out and say you're sorry, you made a mistake. Other than that, I think Aaron Rodgers is a man of principle, and because his bank account has $240 million in career